Welcome! You're listening to Tales in 10, classic stories you can enjoy in approximately 10 minutes or less, produced by Holidaze videos. Please subscribe. Today on Tales in 10, we're exploring a contemporary language retelling of Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's groundbreaking 1818 novel about a young scientist who dares to create life and faces the consequences. In the far Arctic, Captain Robert Walton's ship is trapped in ice during his quest for discovery. One morning, the crew glimpses a gigantic figure speeding across the frozen horizon on a sled later. They rescue a half-frozen man drifting alone on another sled. Victor Frankenstein. As Walton cares for him, Victor warns that ambition unchecked can destroy everything, and begins his story. Victor was raised in Geneva by loving parents who also adopted Elizabeth Lavenza, gentle and thoughtful, the light of Victor's childhood. His closest friend, Henry Clerval, was imaginative and loyal. Victor grew up fascinated by the hidden powers of nature. A lightning storm that shattered a tree sparked his lifelong obsession with electricity and life itself. After his mother died from scarlet fever, Victor left for the University of Ingolstadt. There he abandoned old alchemy and devoted himself to modern science, chemistry, anatomy, the processes of decay. He became consumed by one goal: unlocking the secret of life. In a secluded apartment, he built a large human form from assembled body parts and devised instruments to animate it. After months of exhausting labour, one stormy night, the creature opened its dull yellow eyes. Victor was instantly horrified. Though the being reached toward him like a newborn, Victor fled, unable to face what he had made by dawn. Victor collapsed into illness and spent months recovering under Henry's care. When he finally regained strength, he avoided his old rooms and assumed the creature had vanished. Soon a letter arrived. Victor's young brother William had been murdered. Victor returned home at once. Near Geneva, lightning illuminated the towering figure of the creature on a mountainside. Horrified, Victor became convinced the being killed William. But the blame fell on Justine, a kind servant, after William's locket was found in her belongings. Victor knew she was innocent, yet said nothing, trapped by fear and shame. Justine was executed, deepening Victor's guilt. Seeking escape, he wandered into the Alps, where the creature appeared before him, strong, swift, and desperately intelligent. Instead of attacking, it asked Victor to listen, claiming it would explain everything. Reluctant but shaken, Victor followed it into a sheltered cave, where the creature began the story of its lonely existence. The creature described awakening in confusion, overwhelmed by light, cold, and hunger. People who saw him fled or attacked him. Alone, he survived in forests until he found shelter beside a small cottage. Through a crack in the wall, he quietly observed its residents, blind old de Lacy, and his children Agatha and Felix. Watching them taught him language, kindness, and sorrow. Wanting to help, he gathered firewood and cleared snow at night. When Safie, Felix's beloved, arrived, the creature learned even more by listening to their lessons. He read books that shaped his mind and discovered papers in the coat Victor left behind, notes revealing how he was created. Realizing he had no family, no history, and an appearance that inspired terror, he longed desperately to be accepted. Believing the blind father might judge him fairly, he approached de Lacy when the others were away, speaking gently and asking for friendship. But when Agatha and Felix returned unexpectedly, they reacted with fear. Felix drove him out, breaking the creature's heart. In despair and anger, the creature burned the abandoned cottage and fled. Roaming toward Geneva, he tried once more to seek affection, approaching a child, hoping innocence might look past appearance. But the boy called him a monster, and struggled in panic and rage. The creature accidentally strangled him. Discovering the child was William Frankenstein, he placed the locket on Justine to frame her, determined to make Victor suffer as he had. After confessing this to Victor, the creature pleaded for one thing: a companion like himself, someone who would not fear him. If Victor created a female creature, he promised they would disappear into exile forever. Victor, terrified of more violence, reluctantly agreed. Victor returned home, trying to hide his dread. His father hoped Victor would soon marry Elizabeth, but Victor insisted he must first complete his grim task. Travelling with Henry through Europe, he eventually reached a remote island off Scotland. There, alone in a crude hut, he began assembling a second creature. But fear grew. What if this new being rejected the first? What if together they unleashed terror upon the world? One evening, seeing the original creature watching him through the window, Victor destroyed the half-finished body before his eyes. The creature's fury was enormous. "I will be with you on your wedding night," it vowed, before vanishing into the dark. Victor knew a new tragedy was coming. Victor gathered the remains of the second creature, rowed out to sea, and threw them overboard. Exhausted, he drifted to the coast of Ireland, where locals accused him of murder. The victim was Henry Clerval. The creature had struck again. Victor collapsed into fever and spent weeks imprisoned before being cleared. Returning to Geneva with his grieving father, Victor dreaded the creature's threat. He believed the monster meant to kill him on his wedding night. Wanting to face fate and protect Elizabeth, he agreed at last to marry her. They travelled to a quiet lakeside villa for their honeymoon. That night, Victor searched the house with a pistol, expecting an attack. Elizabeth begged him to calm down, but he insisted he had a deadly enemy. Moments after they separated, a scream shattered the silence. Victor found Elizabeth lifeless, strangled. The creature had taken not his life, but his happiness. Grief killed Victor's father soon after. Alone, Victor swore revenge. He pursued the creature across mountains and villages, following taunting messages carved into rocks and trees. The chase drove him farther north, through deadly cold, until his sled broke on drifting ice, leading to his rescue by Walton's ship. As Victor's strength faded, he urged Walton not to sacrifice others for ambition, as he had. Victor died soon after, consumed by exhaustion and heartbreak. Later that night, Walton saw a massive figure in Victor's cabin, the creature, mourning over the body of its creator. It confessed that killing had brought no peace, only deeper misery. With Victor gone, its purpose had ended. It vowed to burn itself on a pyre in the northern waste, leaving no trace behind. Then it leapt onto the ice and drifted into the darkness. Walton, shaken by all he had heard, abandoned his dangerous voyage and turned the ship home, carrying the warning of a man destroyed by the pursuit of forbidden power. This has been Tales in 10, produced by Holidaze Videos. You just listened to a contemporary language retelling of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe for more classics told in approximately 10 minutes or less.